Catch Texas in Color every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Good afternoon, everyone. We are here with Texas in Color, and we're here to give you a view on how the voting is going. So our first segment, we're going to talk about absentee ballots, which is mighty important about that because if your child is going to college, now's the time for them to get their absentee ballot because they don't want to drive all the way back home to do that. They need to get it now before they go. And how you go about getting it? Well, that's a good question. I got my friend here, Zebrina Robertson. She is here all the way from Northeast Texas. Good afternoon, Zebrina.
Good afternoon, Ron. Pleasure to be here.
So, about the point about absentee ballots, how important is it to everybody to do an absentee ballot? We know that if you're over the age of 65, I'm not too sure, do they automatically send it to you or do you have to request it?
Well, back in the day, it could have been automatically sent to you, or there was different organizations that sent these ballots out to people that were over the age of 65 or who were disabled. But the new laws has changed, SB2, to where now the voter have to request those applications themselves. So you could contact either your Secretary of State or your county's election administrator or election clerk to receive an absentee ballot, or what we also call mail-in ballot.
So what is the importance about the absentee ballot? They're requested. I think we brought up a conversation Friday night when you was here. If somebody in the house is also disabled and can't speak or anything, how do they go about getting an absentee ballot in that aspect?
So with an absentee ballot, there's a few ways you can receive it. You can call in. If you are unable to call in yourself, you could have someone assist you in completing the application to receive an absentee ballot. Or there is instances in certain counties to where they have a drive-up feature to where someone can bring you to the election administrator or to your polling location, and someone will come out to your vehicle to take your vote for you. So there's various ways that a person can go in to cast their vote. So it depends on your county, your election administrator, and the things that they're offering that can facilitate individuals that are needing assistance in this effort in reference to executing their absentee ballot.
All right. Well, here in Bexar County, we have a lot of assisted living places here for the seniors. And we really got to hit them to get out and vote. Now, I'm going to say pretty sure most of them will get absentee ballots. But if they don't, what do we need to do to make sure that they get it?
Well, we need to have individuals or organizations to go to these facilities to find out who is needing a absentee ballot and make sure that they know how to request them and have someone possibly assist them in completing out these forms so they'll be able to receive it. Because they're able to request these forms, I believe on the October 25th, they can request them, and then they can submit these back to the election administrator in your county by November 5th. So there is time where they can receive these ballots and then also complete them and then submit them so their vote could be counted.
I like that. Now there's one question. I ran across this one this weekend. If you're going to turn 18 years old, now is the time for you to register to vote. That means you got to be 18. Well, what is the cutoff date?
Well, actually, if you are, let me make sure I'm saying this correctly, because I want to say if you are 17 and maybe 9 months, you could register. And if you turn 18 before or after the registration, because for this election in November, you would have to register by October 5th. So if you're 17 by October 5th, but your birth date maybe falls between November 5th and October 5th, you'll still be able to register and then be able to vote come November 5th. So depending on what day your birthday lies, where you can register, but you won't be able to physically vote until you turn 18 years of age.
So that means it could be if you turn 18 years of age on November 5th, are you eligible to vote?
Yes, because you're able to register prior to, and then be able to cast your vote on election day, because it gives you that provision.
Okay, so let's step to another topic. Let's talk about early voting. What date does the early voting start, and where does it end?
So early voting is going to start on Tuesday, October 21st, and it will end on October 30th. And then, of course, election day will be the first Tuesday of November, which will be November 5th.
So let's talk about counting the ballots. A lot of people are leery on what happens. Do early voting ballot get counted first or after?
So your early voting ballots are counted first. So every day after whatever time that your polling location closed, during early voting, the hours may be a little different than election day. But at the end of the day, all of those votes are counted and then uploaded to the Secretary of State website. So votes will be counted daily during early voting time. And then there'll be a period where early voting has stopped, and then we'll be waiting for election day. And then those votes on election day will then be uploaded that night after 7 p.m. when the polls are closed.
All right. Now, we told y'all we're going to bring y'all some stuff, but we appreciate everybody tuning this afternoon for this segment right here about absentee ballots and voting. And Zebrina, thank you for stopping by and clearing all this stuff up with us.
Yes, and also make sure you guys check your registration status going to votetexas.gov. You can find out your status, and if you are not registered, you can request to get a voter registration form to fill out online, having that mailed to your home. And then also you can check your voting status, and if you're in a suspense status, that means that a voter registration card or certificate was mailed to you, but it was for whatever reason sent back to the Secretary of State's office. So you would need to make sure that your address is correct, your name is spelled correctly, and so on and so forth, so you'll be taken out of that suspense status and become an eligible voter. Otherwise, as of August 7th, you could possibly be purged from the voter roll if you have missed 2 consecutive federal elections. So please go to votetexas.gov and search your registration status to make sure you're an eligible voter, so you'll be able to execute your right to vote this coming general election.
You know, I said we were leaving, but you brought up something right there, purging, and you did explain to him why you're off the voter roll, whatever it is, you're off of it because of that reason. And this is a time now for everybody to check. Do not wait for the last minute. So if they turn around and wait till after October 5th, are they still able to get back on the roll?
Well, actually, the Secretary of State by law is able to purge the voter roll as of August 7th if you have been in a suspense status prior to. So when you become in a suspense status, you have up until now to correct that. Now, say something transpired where you became in a suspense status after August 7th. You would need to take care of this before election day, because that at that time you would then be issued if you haven't been purged from the roll, you will be given a provisional ballot. And during that provisional ballot process, it will indicate why you are having to be issued a provisional ballot. So it may be to provide your driver's license or your identification card. It may be to verify your name. Sometimes when you get your identification, sometimes there might be some type of misspelling. They may transpose some numbers for your birth date. So your information from the Social Security Administration and your ID may not match. Or depending on if you have a common name, like maybe John Smith, there may be several John Smith. So they want to make sure they try to identify you or separate the 2 identical names. So it's just a kind of a check and balance to make sure that your information is being uniquely set for you and not anyone else. Because we don't want any issues with anyone being accused of doing something, possibly voting twice because they have the same name as someone else in their county. So it'll explain to you when you're at the polls in reference to what the provisional ballot is for and what issue with your voter registration need to be addressed, and they give you a time period. I believe it's 5 days from the time you fill out that provisional ballot to correct that information so your vote will be able to be counted.
And I got one last question. Hey, see, we thought we were done, weren't we? What about the people who bring their absentee ballot in to the precinct and want to vote? What is the process for that?
So you would be required to bring in that physical mail-in ballot, and you will talk to the election judge, and what they would do, they will spoil that ballot. Then they will receive that from you, and then they will issue you a regular voting ballot at your polling location or your countywide polling station. But you would have to bring in that mail-in ballot and turn that in, because you don't want to be voting twice with that mail-in ballot and then, of course, physically voting in your polling location.
All right, see, and we thought we had finished 5 minutes ago. But that happens, questions come up, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. Please go to our YouTube channel, Texas in Color, and you can see the broadcast all the time on our Facebook page, Texas in Color. Until next time, we'll see you. Thank you for watching Texas in Color. Please tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you'll be notified each and every time we go on live.